Let me drop a truth on you. Some of the richest people in history never touched a single ounce of gold. Think about the California gold rush of 1848. Hundreds of thousands of dreamers flooded into California, chasing riches, sleeping in mud, starving, breaking their backs. But who actually got rich? Not the miners. The real winner? Levi Strauss. He didn't dig for gold. He sold denim pants to the miners who kept ripping theirs to shreds. Today, that business is worth $6 billion. Here's the secret most people never learn. Profit isn't found, it's engineered. And the blueprint? It's called the shovel seller principle. You don't need to strike gold. You need to sell shovels to the people who think they'll strike gold. Warren Buffett once said, "Only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked." Translation? When the hype fades, the real money isn't made by chasing trends. It's made by the ones enabling the chase. Let me hit you with a stat that'll flip your worldview. 80% of American entrepreneurs fail within 5 years. But guess what's booming? Tools that help those entrepreneurs dig for gold. Platforms like Shopify, they're growing 30% annually, raking in billions while 80% of their users never turn a profit. This isn't just history. It's happening right now. Every day, millions of Americans are diving into crypto, TikTok marketing, real estate, and drop shipping. Most will lose money. But the people selling the tools, the courses, the software, the get-rich-quick blueprints, they're the ones cashing checks. So here's the question. Are you digging for gold? Or are you selling shovels? Welcome to Profit Architects, where we don't chase trends, we build systems to profit from them. In this video, we're peeling back the curtain on the ultimate wealth-building strategy. We'll show you how to spot modern-day gold rushes, how to sell shovels to the masses, and why success isn't about luck, it's about engineering opportunity. Stick around. By the end, you'll never look at money the same way again. Let's rewind to 1848. California wasn't even a state yet. It was a wild, untamed frontier. Then, gold was discovered at Sutter's Mill, and overnight, the entire country lost its mind. Over 300,000 people stampeded west. Farmers ditched their fields. Lawyers abandoned courtrooms. Sailors jumped off ships mid-port. They came with pickaxes, shovels, and delusions of grandeur, convinced they'd strike it rich. But here's the punchline. 75% of them went home broke. Starving, broken, buried in debt. But while miners were starving in tents, one man was stitching gold into his pockets, Levi Strauss. He didn't dig. He watched. He saw these desperate men tearing through dirt, ripping their pants to shreds, and he asked, what do they really need? Not gold, durable pants. So he took canvas meant for tents, cut it into workwear, and boom, blue jeans were born. Today, that company, Levi's, is worth $6 billion. Not bad for a guy who never touched a shovel. And then there's Samuel Brannan, the OG shovel seller. While everyone else was racing to the hills, Brannan did the math. If 100,000 idiots are chasing gold, I'll sell them the tools to dig their own graves. He opened California's first supply store, selling picks, shovels, pans, and overpriced beans. He didn't care if they struck gold. He just cared that they believed they would. Within months, Brannan became California's first millionaire. The first, not a miner, a salesman. Here's the lesson every American should have learned in school, but didn't. Stop chasing gold. Chase the people chasing gold. Because history repeats. The 2020s aren't any different from 1848. Today's gold rush is crypto, TikTok fame, drop shipping, real estate flippers, AI startups. And just like in 48, 90% of those dreamers will crash and burn. But the people selling the shovels, the course creators, the software platforms, they're laughing all the way to the bank. Take Shopify. Over 1 million entrepreneurs use it to launch online stores. How many actually profit? Less than 20%. But Shopify? They're pulling in $4 billion a year and growing 30% annually. Why? Because they don't care if you win or lose. They just care that you try. Just like Brannan. Or look at the crypto crash of 2022. Billions vanished overnight. But did Coinbase go bankrupt? Nope. They made $5 billion in fees during the chaos. Even when the market tanked, they still got paid. Because they're not betting on gold. They're betting on FOMO, on desperation, on the human need to believe. This isn't just history. It's happening right now. Every time a new trend blows up, NFTs, AI tools, TikTok coaching, a new class of shovel sellers emerges. They're not the ones grinding to make it. They're the ones monetizing the grind. So ask yourself, are you digging in the dirt, praying for a miracle, or are you selling shovels to the diggers? At Profit Architects, we don't chase trends. We engineer systems to profit from them. The gold rush of 1848 wasn't about gold. It was about leveraging human behavior. And guess what? Human behavior hasn't changed. People still panic. They still FOMO. They still throw money at get-rich-quick dreams. The real money isn't in the gold. It's in the shovel. Stick around. Next, we're diving into the modern shovel sellers. The ones making millions off crypto bros, TikTok hopefuls, and side hustle addicts. This isn't theory. These are case studies, playbooks, blueprints. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at money the same way again. Let's fast forward to today. The gold rush isn't in the dirt anymore. It's in the digital. Crypto, NFTs, TikTok fame, AI startups, side hustles that promise freedom from your 9 to 5 grind. But here's the truth. 90% of people jumping into these trends will lose money. They'll blow up their savings, max out credit cards, and crash before they even scratch the surface. But while they're burning out, a new class of shovel sellers is quietly raking in millions. Modern shovels don't dig earth, they dig wallets. Online course, SaaS tools, marketing platform, affiliate schemes that pay you to hype products you've never touched. These aren't just tools, they're emotional triggers. Because the digital gold rush isn't about logic. It's about FOMO, desperation, and the human need to believe you're one click away from escaping the rat race. Let me hit you with a stat. 68% of Americans who invested in crypto in 2021 did it because of FOMO. Not because they understood blockchain. Not because they had a strategy. Because they saw someone else get rich and panicked. And who profited? Not the people buying Dogecoin and hoping it hits $1. The real money went to platforms like Coinbase, which raked in $5 billion in fees during the chaos. Whether the market soared or tanked, Coinbase still got paid. Just like Samuel Brannan in 1848. Or take Teachable, the platform where anyone can slap together a course and call themselves an expert. Guess what? 80% of those courses sell fewer than 100 units. Most creators lose money. But Teachable? They're pulling in $200 million a year and growing. Why? Because they don't care if you're how to make $10,000 per month on TikTok course flops. They just care that you bought the shovel. Here's the golden rule. When the market heats up, shovel sales skyrocket. Look at NFTs in 2021. One day, it was digital art selling for millions. The next, the floor dropped. But did the shovel sellers die? No, they pivoted. Suddenly, there were 400% more courses on how to mint your first NFT. Tools like OpenSea Pro started charging $20 per month for advanced analytics. And platforms like Rarible monetize the hype by letting users pay to list their art, even if no one bought it. This isn't luck. It's engineering. But here's where it gets really twisted. The ultimate shovel sellers aren't targeting dreamers. They're targeting other shovel sellers. Meet Russell Brunson, the king of the meta shovel. He didn't build a product. He didn't create an app. He sold a system to sell systems. His company, ClickFunnels, is a software tool that helps people build sales funnels. Who buys it? Course creators, coaches, gurus trying to sell their own get-rich-quick programs. Brunson doesn't care if their courses fail. He just cares that they need a funnel to sell them. Result? $100 million a year in revenue from people who think they're building businesses but are really just funding his. Or look at Udemy. They're the Wild West of online education. How? By selling access to the platform, pushing ad for trending topics, and licensing courses to corporations. They're not teaching skills. They're monetizing the illusion of skill. This is the modern gold rush playbook. Find the hype, crypto, AI, TikTok. Sell tools to exploit the hype, courses, software, templates. Monetize the failure when dreamers crash. Sell them upgrades. And the best part? You don't need to be an expert. You just need to understand human behavior. At Profit Architects, we don't chase trends. We reverse engineer them. When the crowd stampedes toward the next big thing, we're already building the toll booths on the road to riches. We ask, who's desperate? What are they willing to pay for hope? And how can we package that hope into a product they'll buy tomorrow, next week, and next year? Because here's the dirty secret no one tells you. People don't pay for results. They pay for the feeling of progress. That's why a $1,997 course on how to build passive income sells like hotcakes, even though 90% of buyers will never make a dime. The shovel isn't about the gold. It's about the illusion of gold. So next time you see a trend blowing up, AI art, Solana meme coins, or the next TikTok for dogs, don't ask, how do I get in on this? Ask, who's selling the shovels to the people trying to get in? Because the real money isn't in the trend. It's in the system. Stick around. Next, we're breaking down 15 real-world examples of shovel sellers making millions off crypto bros, TikTok hopefuls, and side hustle addicts. This isn't theory. It's a blueprint. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at money the same way again. Let's break down the modern shovel sellers, the ones raking in millions while their customers chase gold and crash. These aren't just companies. They're systems. Systems built to monetize desperation, hype, and a universal human craving to skip the grind and jump straight to the win. First up, Russell Brunson. Dude didn't invent a product. He didn't even launch a brand. He sold a sales funnel builder to people who didn't know what a sales funnel was. His company, ClickFunnels, is now pulling in $100 million a year from entrepreneurs who think building a funnel is the secret to scaling. Here's the twist. Most of those entrepreneurs never sell a single thing. But Brunson, he's laughing all the way to the bank. Why? Because he's not selling results. He's selling the illusion of results. Next, Tai Lopez. This guy turned 67 steps to riches into a $200 million empire. His course, $1,997. His secret? He doesn't teach business. He sells lifestyle porn, Lumbos in the garage, bookshelves full of hardcovers. The vibe of winning before you've actually won. And guess what? 90% of his students are still broke. But Tai, he's got a private jet and a mansion in Malibu. Moral of the story. If you can sell the dream, you don't need the proof. Then there's Shopify. You know the pitch. Start your own e-commerce store. No experience needed. They charge $29 per month to try. Meanwhile, 80% of Shopify stores never make a single sale. But Shopify doesn't care. They're not in the business of helping you sell sneakers or supplements. They're in the business of selling hope to the 80% who'll fail, and then upselling them growth tools when they realize they're stuck. Samba Pro, classic shovel move, $12, $95/month for professional design tools. But here's the kicker. 90% of Canva users don't need professional design skills. They're just small business owners trying to make a halfway decent Instagram post. Canva knows this. They don't sell design quality. They sell the feeling of competence. And people will pay for that feeling every damn month, even if their designs still look like they were made by a middle schooler. Now let's talk Udemy. They've sold 1 million copies of How to Make Money with Crypto, even though 90% of crypto traders lose money. Their formula? Let anyone upload a course, push it to Facebook ads, and rake in cash from people who think buying a course is the same as getting rich. Result? $3.5 billion valuation. And the instructors? Most make less than $500 per year. Udemy isn't teaching skills. They're monetizing FOMO. Moving on, Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary's a legend, but let's cut through the noise. He built his empire selling books and coaching on personal branding, despite the fact that 95% of his students aren't famous. His secret? He doesn't sell strategies. He sells confidence. He makes you feel like you're one LinkedIn post away from being the next Elon. And while his students spam their feeds with motivational quotes and fail to grow, Gary's charging $10,000 for one. One coaching calls he doesn't even attend himself. Bigger pockets? real estate's best-kept secret. They charge $19.99 per month for access to forums, templates, and expert advice. But here's the truth. Most of their users aren't landlords. They're wannabe investors stuck in the research phase. Bigger Pockets doesn't care. They're not in the business of making landlords. They're in the business of keeping people aspiring to be landlords. As long as the dream stays alive, the subscription keeps renewing. Grammarly Premium? $29.95 per month for a grammar checker. Who buys this? Students, freelancers, people who want to sound smarter in emails. But here's the con. Grammarly doesn't fix bad writing. It fixes basic mistakes. But they've convinced 30 million users that their careers depend on perfect commas. And while their users stress over job applications and blog posts, Grammarly's valuation hits $1.3 billion. HubSpot Academy? Free marketing courses. But here's the catch. They're not teaching marketing. They're teaching you how to use HubSpot software. Once you're hooked, they upsell their CRM for $400 per month, even if you only have 5 clients. They're not training marketers. They're training future HubSpot customers. Gymshark? They're not selling workout clothes. They're selling the image of working out. 70% of their customers don't hit their fitness goals. But they keep buying hoodies and leggings because looking like a gym bro feels close enough to being a gym bro. Gymshark's revenue? $300 million annually. Most of it from people who've never deadlifted 200 pounds. Masterclass? Gordon Ramsay's cooking class costs $180 per year, but 95% of subscribers aren't opening restaurants. They're just watching videos while eating takeout. Masterclass doesn't care. They're not in the business of creating chefs. They're in the business of selling access to icons. And as long as people feel like they're learning, they'll keep paying. Robinhood? They pitch free trading. But here's the scam. They profit from selling your data to hedge funds. Every time you click buy on Dogecoin, Robinhood's making money, even if you lose everything. Result? $1.5 billion in revenue last year. Most of it from users who've never made a dime in crypto. OnlyFans? They let creators monetize content. But 98% of creators make less than $50 per month. So who's winning? OnlyFans itself. They take a 20% cut of every transaction, even the tiny ones. And while their creators struggle to get noticed, OnlyFans' valuation hits $3 billion. LinkedIn Learning? $26.99 per month for career advice. But only 15% of users get promoted. Why? Because watching a video on leadership skills doesn't magically turn you into a VP. LinkedIn doesn't care. They're not selling career growth. They're selling the appearance of career growth. And as long as employees keep watching, companies keep paying for corporate licenses. And finally, Peloton. $2,000 for a bike. $39 per month for workouts. But 60% of users stop riding after 6 months. So why is Peloton still valued at $3 billion? Because they're not selling fitness. They're selling guilt. That bike in your living room? It's a daily reminder that you're not the person you could be. And as long as that guilt exists, Peloton keeps billing you. Here's the pattern. These companies don't profit from your success. They profit from your struggle. They're not selling products. They're selling hope. They're monetizing your dreams, your insecurities, and your fear of missing out. And while you're grinding to make it, they're sitting back, collecting monthly fees from millions of people who'll never reach their goals. At Profit Architects, we don't sell dreams. We sell real strategies. And all we ask in return, a like, a comment, a share, and a subscribe. We teach you how to spot these systems, reverse engineer them, and build your own. Because the real money isn't in chasing trends. It's in engineering the system that lets others chase trends and paying you for the privilege. Stick around. Next, we're breaking down the exact strategies you can use to become the shovel seller in your niche. No fluff, no theory, just blueprints. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at money the same way again. Let me drop a truth on you. The shovel sellers aren't just profiting from trends. They're engineering them. They don't wait for gold rushes. They predict them. They don't follow hype. They manufacture it. And if you want to join their ranks, you need to stop thinking like a seller and start thinking like a system designer. Here's how to build your own shovel-selling empire in America's most volatile markets. First, identify the modern gold rush. This isn't about guessing the next big thing. It's about studying where the FOMO is already boiling. In 2021, NFTs exploded. By Q1 of that year, sales hit $2 billion. And platforms like OpenSea raked in millions from transaction fees. But the real money? It wasn't in the JPGs. It was in the tools helping newbies mint, list, and trade those NFTs. Same with TikTok creators. Over 50 million Americans now use TikTok to monetize content, but only 1% hit 100K followers. Who profits? The people selling TikTok growth courses, analytics tools, and AI scripts. Or look at crypto. 46% of Americans who invested in stocks via Robinhood in 2021 did it because of FOMO, not because they understood the market. Robinhood didn't care if they lost money. They just needed them to trade. Every click, every buy sell, every margin call, that's revenue. Here's the blueprint. Where there's panic, there's profit. Find the trend where people are desperate to act first and think later. That's a gold rush. Second, sell solutions to problems people think they have. Let's get brutal. Most people don't need what you're selling. They just feel like they do. Case in point, the work-from-home millionaire courses that exploded during the pandemic. Millions of Americans lost jobs. And suddenly, everyone was selling passive income systems for $1,997. Did the buyers get rich? Hell no. But the sellers? They banked $200 million combined while the rest of us were Googling how to apply for unemployment. Same with fitness. 60% of Peloton users stopped using their bikes within 6 months. But Peloton still charged $39 per month. Why? Because they sold the feeling of transformation, not the transformation itself. Third, price based on emotion, not cost. A shovel costs $10. A Gold Rush survival kit costs $197. Same product, different story. Look at Tai Lopez again. His 67 Steps to Success course isn't a curriculum. It's a lifestyle drug. $1, $9.97 for a Lamborghini in your garage, a mansion on a cliff, and a bookshelf full of hardcovers. Buyers don't care if it works. They care how it feels to click purchase. Or take Marie for Leo. Her B-School course, $2,000. But she doesn't just teach business. She sells the identity of being a visionary leader. Result? $10 million per year from people who will never build a $1 million brand. Fourth, build an ecosystem of shovels, not a single tool. Russell Brunson didn't stop at ClickFunnels. He layered on books, coaching calls, and software integrations. Why? Because the average customer spends $2,500 per year on his ecosystem, even if they never sell a product. Or look at HubSpot. They give away free marketing courses, then upsell their CRM for $400 plus per month. Their secret? Hook users on the idea of growth, then charge them to chase it. Fifth, become the gatekeeper of opportunity. LinkedIn Premium doesn't help you get hired. It helps recruiters find you if you pay. For $39.99 per month, premium users get unlimited profile views and in-mail access. But here's the twist. Most users never get a job offer. They just keep paying to feel like they're in the game. Same with OnlyFans. Creators make less than $50 per month on average. But OnlyFans takes a 20% cut of every transaction, including the $0 ones. Genius? No. Engineering. Sixth, target the most emotionally unstable market, newbies. Gen Z doesn't care about SEO. They care about getting 1 million TikTok views. So what do shovel sellers do? They launch courses like How to Go Viral in 7 Days for $497. Do the buyers succeed? 5% hit 100K views. But the sellers? They run Facebook ads to 18-year-olds with trust funds and no patience. Or look at crypto mining rigs. In 2022, companies sold $5,000 rigs to boomers who thought Bitcoin would bounce back. Did the rigs pay off? Nope. But the sellers? They cash checks while the buyer's mind losses. Seventh, your brand is your shovel. People don't buy products. They buy stories. Gary Vaynerchuk sells books on hustle culture. Does every reader become a mogul? No. But Gary's net worth? $200 million. Why? Because he's not selling strategies. He's selling the feeling of being in control. Same with Marie Forleo. Her brand isn't about business. It's about being the kind of person who changes the world. That's why her students keep paying, even if they never launch a product. Here's the final truth. The shovel seller's mindset isn't about greed. It's about leverage. You don't need to be the smartest. You need to be the first to see where desperation is headed and build a toll booth on the road there. At Profit Architects, we don't teach you how to dig for gold. We teach you how to engineer the system that makes digging profitable for you. Whether it's crypto, AI, or the next TikTok fad, the formula stays the same. Find the panic. Sell the illusion of control. Monetize the failure. Because here's the dirty secret no one tells you. People don't pay for results. They pay for the feeling of progress. Stick around. Next, we're wrapping this up with the ultimate lesson: how to stop chasing money and start engineering it. Let me drop this truth on you. The rich don't win by outworking you. They win by out-engineering you. They're not the strongest, the smartest, or the luckiest. They're the ones who see the game before it starts and rig the rules in their favor. While you're grinding to make it, they're sitting back, collecting monthly fees from everyone who's trying to make it. That's not luck. That's architecture. At Profit Architects, we don't teach you how to dig for gold. We teach you how to build the shovel business. Because here's the dirty secret no one tells you. Money isn't made by chasing trends. It's made by monetizing the people chasing them. Take crypto. In 2023, 46% of Americans invested in crypto because of FOMO. Most lost money. But who profited? The people selling the guides, the courses, the how to pick the next Dogecoin blueprints. The average shovel seller in this niche makes $50,000 a year, even though 85% of their students go broke. That's the power of engineering opportunity. This isn't just theory. It's happening right now. Every time a new trend blows up, AI tools, TikTok coaching, NFTs, real estate flippers, a new class of shovel sellers emerges. They're not the ones grinding to build a TikTok brand or flip houses. They're the ones selling the templates, the scripts, the get-rich-quick systems to the people who think they can. And while their customers burn out, they keep billing, month after month, year after year. So ask yourself, are you playing the game or designing it? The difference between survival and domination isn't skill. It's perspective. The people who win aren't the ones with the best product. They're the ones who understand this rule. Money is made by solving problems. If you want to get rich, stop chasing gold and start selling shovels. Let that sink in. At Profit Architects, we show you how to spot the next gold rush before the crowd stampedes, how to build a system that profits whether your customers win or lose, and how to turn desperation into recurring revenue. Because here's the final truth. People don't pay for results. They pay for the feeling of progress. Your job isn't to give them gold. Your job is to sell them the illusion that gold is within reach. If they just buy your shovel, your course, your software, your coaching call. So next time you see a trend blowing up, AI art, Solana meme coins, or the next TikTok for cats, don't ask, how do I get in on this? Ask, who's selling the shovels to the people trying to get in? Because the real money isn't in the trend. It's in the system. Stick around. Smash that subscribe button. Hit the bell. And remember, profit isn't found, it's engineered.